Greetings. I'm John O'Toole, and I'm just giving you a little update. Oops. It is moving. Never had crack cocaine, but I'm telling you, a nice oxygen flow has got to be better. Anyway, I've mentioned before that I've been struggling with this issue with my legs and feet going on a long time. November. And, it's funny that those of you who have watched my Santa Claus video, I shot that in October. And I had some kind of feeling that I wanted to get it over with. My excuse was my beard was actually optimally perfect in October, and I wanted to trim it down a little bit. But the reality was, if I did shoot it in October, I would never have gotten that production out. So, because by December, I was not a happy camper. So last week, I went into the wound appointment. I don't know when exactly the last one was, but the wound appointment before last week. Well, every time I go in, if I have any open wounds, what they do is they trim off any dead tissue. Most of us in our lifetime, we just pick scabs. It's just not a healthy thing to do, but we do it. And then we bleed, put a Band-Aid back on it, and we do it all over again. But if you're being treated by a wound specialist, what they do is they will trim off that dead skin and then bandage it up. It doesn't usually bleed much. And that gives room for new skin to grow in its place. And the other thing they don't want is to have an air pocket that will form in a wound. Kind of like a blister. When you have a blister, it fills up with fluid and heals over. And then you have a pocket of fluid under the skin. Eventually gets infected and drains in a most disgusting way. So, anyway, he was debriefing my foot, and he hit a vein, and it started bleeding. And he had to put a couple of sutures in, which was interesting because he didn't have the right size in the office. They had to send somebody up to the hospital to get suture and needle. So it was a little freaky, and people sitting in there with their finger in my foot hold back the bleeding. So last Tuesday, a week ago today, I went in for my weekly checkup, and there was some skin that needed to be debriefed, but they didn't want to do it in the office because it was too much of a chance of it really needed to be done in an operating room. So there I was off in an ambulance on the way to the hospital, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was in the operating room. This was early, actually. It was kind of, excuse me. It was funny how the day was, because I was up early. I was up around 6:30, and it was a 10:30 appointment. And I had my bowl of Cheerios with almond milk. And I was looking forward to a bagel with cream cheese. 2. I was looking forward to 2. But I didn't get there early enough to get my bagels with cream cheese. And then was carted out by the ambulance, so I didn't get my bagel with cream cheese that day. In fact, I didn't get it all week. So I went into the emergency room, and then I was in the operating room, and then I was in the hospital till Friday. And they had me on IV antibiotics and some wound care and the wound vac. Yeah. It was an interesting experience. You know, if you don't have somebody to watch your back in the hospital, often they'll do things without really telling you directly about. You know, an interesting thing was what they did is that I take a Lasix pill, basically the water pill that helps your body dump fluid that collects around the heart. And also in the legs in particular. So they chose not to give me that pill for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Which made it look like I wasn't peeing a lot, which I wasn't, which was kind of odd in itself. I thought that was an odd thing, but I didn't have to pee a lot. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. And I think they did it because they wanted to not have my legs weep so much, because one of the problems is with my legs filling up with fluid, it just kind of permeates through the skin. And that makes it hard to get a good seal on the wound vac and a lot of different things. Part of the issue I have with the legs is too much moisture migrating through my skin on my legs and feet. So, but I think they said it at some point, but they didn't say it directly. I didn't quite realize it. So, Saturday I was using my own correct medications and insulin, and my body went into this water dump mode. And I'm still in this water dump mode. It's as if nobody gave me my Lasix. So my body retained all kinds of fluid during when I was in the hospital. And it's been dumping fluid, more so than I could consume, for all these days. It's crazy. Oh, yawn, 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 yawn. So, this is where you had somebody watching your back, they would know it. And they'd say, well, wait a minute, doctor, why are you doing that? You know? And it's been weird. Thought I was having a heart attack on Saturday. The last thing I wanted to do was go back to the hospital. The last thing. So, looking like what we're going to do is I'm going to go into a rehabilitation center, which is basically a nursing home, but hopefully it's not as bad. Oh my goodness. Oh, yawn, 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 yawn. I don't get it, all these yawns. So, I don't really wish to go into a nursing home, even if it's temporary. I just hear so many nightmares about it, nursing homes. But I need to do something. I can't get enough care at home in order to change bandages every day since I live alone, and I can't seem to get a PCA to come in and work for $15 an hour, because apparently that's not enough money to pay people to do stuff when they can go to Burger King or or Dunkin' Donuts and work for $15 an hour. I don't know what you people think about the bringing the minimum wage up, so people that have no skills aren't going to get paid a premium wage, or are going to get paid a premium wage, because they're not going to raise up the salary of specialized employees above that $15. So an interesting thing happened is that the whole time I was in there, the only pain pill I requested was Tylenol. And it wasn't so much for pain, it was just the fact of keeping me from being cold, because I get chills. Tylenol seems to help that. But at any rate, that's all I asked for all week long. And then they send you home with a med set, so your antibiotics and stuff, you have that stuff when you leave. So you don't have to go sit at your pharmacy after going out of the hospital. Well, you know what? They happened to put on 2 pain pills onto my list. 2 of which were, one was oxycodone, and the other one was something else that was also something like oxycodone, without my permission, without my knowledge. And they were just there. And if I just blindly accepted the prescriptions without actually asking questions about it, I would have went home with, this narcotic that could either get me addicted, it could get someone in my family addicted, it could get somebody addicted. And that doesn't make any sense when there's supposed to be this big deal about getting people off of this stuff. And they're just automatically sending out a prescription for it? It's ridiculous. There's a lot of money made in people who are addicted to illegal drugs, heroin, cocaine, pain pills, all that stuff. There's a lot of money in it. Rehab centers, treatment centers. It's it's basically another profit margin. So the hospital's not making money in the hospital, but they're making money in all these treatment centers because somebody's paying for it all. All these people, most of these people aren't very well off as far as insurance is concerned. It's all being paid by state aid or state insurance or federal insurance. I'm just saying, is there a conspiracy going on? I don't know. But I thought I was pissed. I was vividly pissed when I saw that on the sheet. For them to send me home with something like that was really not a good thing. So, keep an eye on stuff like that. But at any rate, next couple of days I'm going to be going into a rehab center. I don't know if you're going to still see videos from me or not. How can I not put out videos? I'm loading up my laptop with Adobe Premiere and stuff so that I have ability to play around with video editing when I'm there. And I got an old laptop, but hopefully it will make it through. And yeah. So that's where I'm at. I've been peeing. But it's nice to be back home. The hospital is in the city. It's a small city. But it's nice to be back out here in the woods. And the rehab center I'm going to is actually the same town as the wound center is in. So at least I won't be far from it. It's very rural. So I'm not in the city. So That's all I have for you. So, managed to get out those 2 microgreen videos. I might have part 3 out. If I can get a harvest out of the 3rd piece of using the different kind of screening. And I'm not really sold on it. I think it works for some people in some climates. Microgreens are very fussy about their climates. And if you're up here where it's cold and dry, and it's not the same. You really, I don't know. People that are in more moist, warm and moist, they grow better. So, until next time, get out and play with some stuff. Shoot some video, post some video. Gardening. Yeah, my hat's off to Larry Hall. He's the inventor of the rig system. I'm trying to think what it's called. What's the R stand for? But he basically he took a gutter, a vinyl gutter, ran a couple of boards along the side of them to keep it from flopping around. And then he would take shopping bags from Walmart, the blue shopping bags, and we'd take a net cup, put it in the very bottom, cut a little hole, stick it into the bottom of the bag, fill the bag up with compost, put it over the gutter. And then he'd have a bunch of bags along the gutter. And then he would fill the gutter with water. And you'd use a float valve to fill it automatically. And then capillary action would draw water up through the dirt to the plant. And that was his initial idea. He used a soft bag, which made the root system very cozy. Didn't go root bound like it does in plastic pots, hard plastic pots. And it was kind of an interesting idea, and he was able to grow phenomenal growth up in Minnesota. And it took off around the world with all different kind of designs. You could take these bags and stick them into a kiddie pool, and with, maintain a couple ounces of water, a couple inches of water in there, it would wick up into the plant. There's all kinds of systems out there that are all generated off this initial grow of it. You can buy root pouches instead of the Walmart bag. That'll last a couple of years. And it's an amazing thing that has shot up all over the world, where people can grow their vegetable garden out on the patio in the gravel with not as much water, because you could control your water, so you're not dumping all kinds of water, into the yard, and grow a pretty decent crop. There's been all kinds of techniques that have all spurred off of this one concept that Larry Hall came up with. He recently passed away, so most of us that know of him have, check him out. Look up Larry Hall on YouTube. He's got a beard like mine too, and he's got a deep voice, and you watch his videos. It's very exciting about what he's come up with ideas about growing out of this basic thing of drawing water up from the bottom, just like the water, my microgreens that I've been growing with the bottom watering of the microgreens. It's the same thing, bottom watering into the plants from below. There's some people have taken the same idea and put like a a feeder above. So it would feed water down from above into the plant pots too. And that would just circulate a system. And then the water would drain down through the bag into the gutter. They're still using the gutters. And then, I would send down into some kind of a bin, and it would be pumped back out of the system so that it would go back, dribble down into the pots. I mean, it's a very cool thing that it has really sprung out on this amazing network where people can grow an enormous amount of food with a controlled amount of water. It's essentially doing hydroponics on crack cocaine. So take a look at his thing. If I think of it, I'll put a link in the description. Like, subscribe, comment, send me roses, whatever you want to do. That's it. Ta-ta. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba.